A warm welcome to all the students of class 8th. Today we are going to discuss poem number 1, True Growth. Your presenter is Yogita Joshi, lecturer English, Government Senior Secondary Smart School, Pernibaga District, Mansa. Dear students, before we start the lesson, we are going to enjoy an activity. I'll sing a tune for you and you have to guess the rhyme that I'm singing. Ready? Let's start. Guessed it? Let's see. Which rhyme is it? Yes, most of you have guessed it right. It is check and Jill. Shall we sing and enjoy? Let's start. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. Very good. Dear students, this is the beauty of the poem that we can sing it and there's always a music in the poem. Before starting the poem True Growth in detail, we are going to perform the pre-reading activity in which we will learn new words. The first word is bulk. Bulk. It means something of large size or volume. Second word is oak. Oak. It is a kind of tree. Number 3, log. Log. It is a large piece of wood. Number 4, bald. Bald. It means without leaves or hair. Fifth word is sere. Sere. It means dried up. Sixth word is lily. Lily. It is a kind of flower. Seventh word is proportions. Proportions. It means parts. Eighth word is measures. Measures. It means amount. I hope you have understood the meanings of these words. Now let's have a quick revision of the pronunciation of these words. Bulk, oak, log, bald, sere, lily, proportions, and measures. Good. First of all, I'll recite the complete poem for you. Later on, I'm going to paraphrase it. The name of the poem is True Growth. It is not growing like a tree, in bulk doth make man better be, or standing long as an oak, 300 years, to fall a log at last, dry, bald and sere. A lily of a day is fairer far in May, although it fall and die that night, it was the plant and flower of light. In small proportions we just beauty see, and in short measures life may perfect be. and in short measures, life may perfect be. This is the complete poem. When a poem is written, we always have a hidden message behind it, and that message is given through the special arrangement of the sentences and the rhyming words. In this poem, we have gone through many rhyming words. For example, in the first line, the word tree rhymes perfectly with the last word of second line, that is be. Similarly, years and seer. You can see a lily of a day. The last word day matches with the last word of next line, that is May. Similarly, night and light. And in the last two lines, we have two rhyming words, that is C and B. So, the beautiful idea of the poem is revealed through the beautiful arrangement of the words. What does the poet mean when he is saying that it is not growing like a tree? The basic idea behind the complete poem is that only growing is not enough. Utility is important. Only growing in size, only growing in weight, only growing in length is not significant if it is not useful to others. The poet says that in bulk doth make man better be. It means only having a bulky existence has no reward. We can stand like an oak tree, as said in line number 3. An oak tree stands for 300 years, but for these 300 years, this tree is not serving anyone. At the end of its life, this poem has been written by Ben Jonson. Let's try to understand what does the author mean in first 4 lines. It is not growing like a tree, in bulk doth man better be. True growth does not mean that we are just growing big, big, big like a tree, and there is no benefit to other people of this growth, or standing long as an oak 300 years. And the poet says that there is no significance of a life which is just like an oak tree, living for 300 years without any service to anyone in the world. To fall a log at last, dry, bald and sere. As an oak tree falls at last, being dry, without leaves, and without any use, just like a wasted log of wood. Similarly, a life which is not useful to others, it also ends up without any significance. A lily of a day is fairer far in May. Our life should be like a lily flower. This flower does not have a long life. Although it fall and die that night, it was the plant and flower of light. A lily flower provides beauty, pleasure, and joy to the surrounding. So its short life is a significant life because it is providing service to the others. selflessly. In small proportions, we just beauty see, and in short measures, life may perfect be. The poets emphasizes this idea that life may be small, but it is significant when we are doing something for others selflessly, like the flower lily. Dear students, now we are going to perform a few post-reading activities so that we may understand the complete poem. You have to speak the following rhyming words with me aloud so that you may understand the rhyme scheme. Tree, bee, years, seer, day, May, night, light, sea, bee. So these are the pairs in which the rhyme scheme is there. Both the words have the same rhyme or the sound when we pronounce these words. Let's quickly go through the summary of the poem so that we may understand the complete concept from first line to the last. The poem True Growth by Ben Jonson has a deep meaning, my dear students. The poet highlights the idea that a short life of beauty and perfection is far better than a long but useless life. Here the poet has used two examples. For useful life, the example of a flower named lily has been used, while the example for a long but useless life has been given through an oak tree. An oak tree lives for 300 years. But what is the use of this long life? Because it does not serve anyone at all, and it falls as a leafless and useless log of wood at last. On the other hand, look at the beautiful lily flower. A lily flower lives only for a day, but during its short life, it spreads joy and beauty all around. So the poet says that the short life of lily is much better than the long life of an oak tree, because lily is useful to others. Life can be beautiful and perfect in short measures also. Moving on to the theme of the poem. Long life and big size is not a sign of excellence, as explained in the poem with the example of the oak tree. The poet says that it is not necessary that to have a significant life, we should have a long life. Even a short life can be perfect. Long life is not perfect if it is not useful. Long life is not perfect if it is not eventful. On the other hand, a short life is perfect if it serves others. A short life is perfect if it is filled with beauty. So, the significance of the life lies in the service to others than the length of the life. After reading the poem, you must have noticed the difference between prose and poetry. In a prose lesson, we don't have some peculiar things that we can find in poetry. Dear students, please note down that in poetry we have rhyme scheme with unique arrangement of sounds. This unique arrangement of sounds produces music in the poem. And when this is in a perfect metric arrangement, we can sing the poem. Second thing is rhythm through unique arrangement of words. It means the words are arranged in such a way that we create a complete rhythm in the poem. Ornamental words. It means in the poem we use a few words which are not very common in the daily life speech of a person. Use of imagery. It means the poet tries to give a vivid picture of the imaginative world that he or she is having in her mind. And the poet tries to implant that picture perfectly in the minds of the readers through the use of imagery. Use of figures of speech. Students, sometimes the poet is comparing two things directly. That is called simile. This is a figure of speech. Sometimes the poet is comparing two things indirectly. This is a figure of speech in which the poet is not using the words like or as, but the comparison is highlighted. Similarly, in personification, the inanimate things or objects, they talk like human beings. There are many figures of speech, and these figures of speech make a poem different from prose or normal daily life speech. Let's move on to another post-reading activity. This activity has the aim of vocabulary expansion. Given below are some kinds of trees and flowers. You have to put them under the right box. I'll just read the words for you, and you should fit the appropriate word in the two columns. First column is tree and the second column is flower. First of all, you will do it yourself, then I'll give you the right answers. Ready? Let's start. Oak, daffodil, lily, rosewood, banyan, tulip, willow, daisy, rose, pine, jasmine, birch. Have you enlisted the words? Good. Let's check out the answers. Dear students, answers are in front of you. You can tally your answers with this list. First of all, I am going to tell you the list of the trees. These are oak, banyan, willow, rosewood, pine, birch. Done? Let's move on to the list of the flowers. Lily, rose, jasmine, daffodil, tulip and daisy. Good. This post-reading activity is telling you to read and understand the sentences. After reading and understanding, you have to tell whether the statement is true or false. Very easy. Let's start. An oak tree can live up to 300 years. Number 2. An oak tree lives a short but beautiful life. Number 3. An oak tree dries up and dies leafless in the end. Number 4. A lily flower lives only for a day. Number 5. A lily is a symbol of short but beautiful and perfect life. Number 6. Only a long life can be perfect. I hope you have guessed it. Now tally your answers with the right answers. So the first statement here is an oak tree can live up to 300 years. According to this poem, this is true. Number 2. An oak tree lives a short but beautiful life. No, it is false. An oak tree dries up and dies leafless in the end. You have read it in the poem. It is true. Number 4. A lily flower lives only for a day. Yes, according to poem, it is true. Number 5. A lily is a symbol of short but beautiful and perfect life. This is true. Number 6. Only a long life can be perfect. Dear students, this is false. I hope you have done all the answers right. If not, you can note down the right answers. Okay? Moving on. Now we have a beautiful, interesting activity. In this activity, we are just to enjoy the music. We'll sing together. Let's recite the following poem, and this recitation will be musical as we are going to sing it. The poem Flowers. As are the children to our mother, so are the flowers to our nature. As are the stars to the sky, so are flowers giving us joy. You have gone through the poem. This is a beautiful poem with special arrangement of the words that can be sung by an individual. So by the end of the session, we are going to go through the things that we have learned today by reading this poem. Here I have a list of things to remember. And here I have enlisted all the reasons why we can sing or recite a poem. This will highlight the first thing that we had discussed in the beginning of the lesson, that a poem is always different from prose. The first reason is rhyme scheme. As we have gone through the rhyme scheme of the poem, and I have explained everything for you. Now you must have understood special arrangement of words is there in the poem to create music in it. Through this special arrangement, we have to place rhyming words in a specific sequence. With this kind of arrangement, the poem becomes musical. We can sing the poem while we cannot sing the prose because the prose has no such rhyme scheme or poetical arrangement. Next part is pleasure. The entire literature revolves around this aim. The aim of literature is to provide pleasure to the reader, and literature does so with the help of various genres. But poetry is the genre in which the pleasure is maximum. Poetry is all about pleasure, and it is extracted out of the best arrangement of syllable, words, and sounds, as we have seen in the poems. In this poem, you have seen that there is special kind of musical arrangement of the words, and when we sing or recite the poem, we feel enjoyment and pleasure. The third factor is rhythm. Poetry always has rhythm in it. This is the peculiarity of a poem. Even if there is no rhyme scheme which is musical, even if we do not have the rhyming words at the end of the sentences, rhythm is always there in the poem. And in this special style of rhythm, we have the development of the idea. The poet always tries to stay connected to one central idea from the first line to the last line. Next are figures of speech. The poet sometimes compares two things directly using the word like or as. Sometimes this comparison is indirect by replacing one word with another. Sometimes the inanimate objects talk like human beings in the poem. And sometimes we have special arrangement of the sounds by repeating any one sound. All these techniques, they are known as figures of speech, and their names respectively are similes, metaphors, personification, and alliteration. Many more figures of speech are there. This beautifies the language of the poem. Imagery. Imagery means creating the picture through the images, and these images are created with the help of the special words. When the poet is writing a poem, he has a special scene in his mind, and he has special kind of images in his mind. Now he wants that the reader should also feel the same scene and the same image and the same pleasure. For this, he has to create the images through the words. This creation of vivid images gives poetry an element of high level of imagination. And this imagination, the specific beauty of a poem. So, wherever the poet goes with his ideas, he takes us there with the help of images. This technique is known as use of the imagery. So, rhyme scheme, pleasure, rhythm, figures of speech, and imagery are the specific factors which are not found in prose but they are found in a poem. This was all about the poem True Growth. Let us sum up the session by revising the theme once again. The poet emphasizes the idea that long and big size is not a sign of excellence in human life. A short life can be perfect when it is useful to the other people. In short, we should have a useful life, not a long life only. A short life is perfect if it is filled with beauty. Thank you so much for being with. Have a very nice day.